Be straight with me, M. Night. Are you sure you just produced this? What's going on, guys, and welcome to my review of The Watchers, a film that's been on my radar since the trailers dropped, most notably because of the film's director, who is actually M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, Ishana Shyamalan. I was really wanting to see what she was going to bring to the table different from her father. That's what really intrigued me. Now, I'm a big fan of M. Night Shyamalan's movies, most of them. Not the most recent ones, there's been hit and miss, but most of his older ones like Sixth Sense and Village and all them. So I was really curious when they started announcing this, when they started announcing that M. Night Shyamalan's daughter was going to direct a movie. I was intrigued. I was definitely intrigued. As I said, I have much respect for her father. I have much respect for M. Night Shyamalan. I like his style of directing when he's a hit. So this makes Ishana Night Shyamalan's feature directional debut as a director. So essentially the film follows this woman played by Dakota Fanning who gets lost in these woods out in the middle of nowhere, and she comes across these people that's been held up in this bunker type house with a two-way mirror, and she finds out quickly that these creatures comes out and roams at night and watches them, hence the Watchers, these supernatural creature-like things that just gets their kicks out at watching these people in this two-way mirror. Rolling into this, I wasn't really knowing what to expect, because I've seen enough of her father's work. Knowing that it was his daughter directing this, I was kind of hoping for just a little bit of a different style, just sprinkled in with just her own. But before I get into all that, let's get into the positives for The Watchers. I do gotta say, interesting concept. When this woman gets lost, she not only gets lost in these creepy-ass woods, she kind of goes into this bubble. For those of you who have watched The Cabin in the Woods, it's kind of like that. Like the characters in that film, they go into this bubble-type scenario to where there's no escape. You park your car in a certain area, you go 5 steps ahead, or 10 or 15 steps ahead, into these woods, and you look back, and there's nothing there. Nothing but more woods. So where the hell did your car go when it was just 15 feet away from you? So that's basically what you have here. And it's an interesting concept. I deeply respect a concept like that, which is why I really love The Cabin in the Woods. Here, they did it in kind of the same way. It was really stylistic the way the movie was shot. These creepy-ass night scenes to where you don't know where these creatures are or what they are, what they look like. It was very, very intriguing, and I deeply respected that portion of this film. Eventually, you do see the creatures. It's not a spoiler, and if it does seem like a spoiler, I apologize, but I'm keeping it to the bare minimum as I can. But the creature designs was actually pretty interesting. I liked the way they looked. I liked the way they presented themselves, and just the design of it all. It was pretty intriguing. It was pretty cool. But that's all I'll say on that. I like that very claustrophobic feel that the forest gives out, especially during the night scenes. Because even in the day scenes, it never really felt fully sunny. You always had that misty feel, that very gloomy, fog-like feel. The forest, as described by one of the characters, has this way of messing with your mind. Like you just see something out in the distance and it looked like a person or a thing and you wouldn't know what the hell it was. And even though this was the daytime, because they mostly attack at night, that's why you always need to be inside that little bunker area before then, otherwise they'll kill you. You still feel that there's danger around, but you have to go out and eat and like live off the fat of the land and stuff. But your safest bet is to do that during the day. But the forest still gets you in a way, so that's why most of these characters had to be like strong-willed and strong-minded, because it still messes with your head by making you see things, and I really did appreciate that. And that's why there's rules to follow, especially during the day when you're doing what you gotta do before nightfall hits. Like, don't go to that patch. Don't go to that pit. And more importantly, be inside that damn bunker before the damn sun goes down. It's just little moments like that. It definitely have its tense moments with that portion of this film. Moving on to my mix, as much as I like the creature designs, I really did, when it came to revealing what they actually were, yeah. On one hand, which this still involves the creatures, the twist ending, I actually did appreciate. That's one thing that M. Night Shyamalan, even though this wasn't directed by him, it was his daughter, that's one thing I really did appreciate about her father, is every time, minus Knock at the Cabin, I don't know why he chose to do the ending the way he did on that, but minus that one, he's always been good at delivering a good twist ending. I got that feeling to where I was genuinely shocked, and it's something that I have not felt in a movie in a long time. Just that twist ending that I didn't see coming. I guess it's just the fact that I look at movies a certain way, and this is where I'm kind of cursed at having this ability. But it's just the fact that I look at movies a certain way, I just hadn't been able to feel the way I did in this until this movie came along. The twist endings, because I've always been able to spot them a mile away. Well, not like too early, but still. With The Watchers, I actually felt genuinely surprised. The twist worked. On the other hand, when it actually came to revealing what the creatures were and the lore, I didn't really like it. I thought it was a little cheesy. I didn't really think it worked for what the film was telling up until the third act. I don't know. Just something about it just didn't really... It didn't really sit with me. It did feel a little disappointing. It felt like it went a little sidetracked, a little off track whenever it actually revealed and when it was explaining what these things were. And it just kind of cheapened them. To me, I guess you could call this a me thing. I don't know. For those of you who watched it, let me know down in the comments below what you thought without spoiling anything. But I don't know. Just something about it. It just really, you had a great twist ending, which to me I thought was excellent. It worked. But then it kind of had to ruin it with explaining what those things were, and it just... I don't know, it just, something about it just didn't really mix well. Just didn't really mix right with me. It's not something that pissed me off. It's not something that yanked me out of the movie completely. It's questionable for now. But it may be something that I can get past. It may be something that I can warm up to later on if I decide to watch this thing again. It is what it is. Moving on to my negatives, and this was something that I feared walking in. Knowing that this was M. Night Shyamalan's daughter who directed this thing, I still held out just a glimmer of hope that I could have seen what she could have brought to the table and something different. Instead, it felt like an exact replica of what her father does. Just beat by beat, it felt like a carbon copy of what M. Night Shyamalan does instead of his daughter. And that was something that was very disappointing. It's something that I was really wanting to see what she could have brought to the table. It's nothing new, it's nothing original, it's just an exact carbon copy of what her father does. And that was very disappointing. I was really hoping to see if Ishana was able to do something different, was able to spread her wings. And unfortunately, it just felt like a cocoon of her father's shadow. If you were to tell me that this thing was directed by his daughter, I would have believed you. If I hadn't seen anything about it, if I hadn't seen any trailers, and known anything about it, and maybe squint my eyes when the end credits came up, as soon as her name pops up on the end credits, if I'd have closed my eyes, rubbing it or something, I still wouldn't have believed it. Because it just felt the same. That's a shame. I really wanted to see what his daughter would have brought if it had just been anything original, but it's not. It's just, it felt like the same old thing, beat for beat. I just hope by sometime in the future that she can get away from her father's grasp and do something original. Just put her mark on Hollywood and just do her own thing. Do her own style, not the same thing that her father does. I want to see something more. I want to see something different. I'm hoping that for her, I hope that happens for her sometime down the line. I really want to see something different from her. For a feature directional film, this really wasn't a good start. I just hope the next movie, the very next movie she does, whatever that might be, has some form of her own techniques and her own mixture of her own tone that she can just mix into her own film and make it separate from M. Night Shyamalan, from her father. And another thing that I've sort of feared walking into this, and something I was kind of expecting, speaking of tone, I felt like the film kind of dragged out just a little bit. It felt like it took a little bit too much time to get to its point. It did feel a little sluggish. It did have a little bit of a slow burn feel to it. What you basically get is mostly people running around the woods and just talking and exploiting more stuff, and it just felt a little sluggish. It felt like it dragged its heels, and that was something else that I was really fearing, because here recently a bunch of M. Night Shyamalan's films felt the same way. It didn't feel that much different here, and that was a little disappointing. I felt like it could have prospered a little bit if some things was cut out and it just kind of fastened up a little, but it felt no different here with its tone. It did feel a little sluggish, it felt a little bit of a slow burn, and that was a little disappointing. But this really wasn't a great start for her in that department, in terms of tone and just doing everything beat for beat that her father does. Nothing new there. I just hope that the next movie she does, it's there. Like, just some form of originality can be formulated. And last but not least, I didn't really like Dakota Fanning's character. You have a character, this main character, to where you're supposed to follow that the whole entire film and cheer and root for. But when you get a character like Dakota Fanning, who all she does is, after she arrives at this creepy woods and she starts understanding everything that's going on, after she gets explained by the other characters that creatures are out to kill them if they go out at night, and they're just in this dangerous situation, and no matter how many times they tell her, this is all you get. Okay. Okay, well, I better not go out at night, but I'm going to break the rules anyway, because I'm such a dummy. Okay. And sure, by all means, ignore all the signs, ignore all the warning signs, ignore the one character that has been there from the get-go, that knows what the hell she's talking about, that warns you not to go in that dark-ass pit and get literally lowered down for you to possibly get eaten. Sure, just ignore all that. Bravo. Bravo. That's all you get. That's all you get. And for someone like that, when you're supposed to be cheering for him, that really made it hard. Because you get no reaction, no surprise, no shock value, no nothing. And it's no fault on Dakota Fanning. I think she's a wonderful actress. She was great in the past movies I've seen her, like Man on Fire and Equalizer 3 and many others. But what she's been given and how she's been told to act, nothing. Bupkis. For a character like that, you can't really cheer for her. And it's like the first 20, 30 minutes, you're like, oh, really? We're going to have to suffer through this for another hour and 30 minutes? Okay, whatever. She's not a character worth following. She's not anybody that you want to cheer for because of that, because she gives you nothing. You get like a little tragic backstory, but that's it. Because the way she acts, you don't even feel for that. She really should have had a better character trait. That's all I'm saying. Despite the film's flaws, was this the worst I've seen? No. Was it the best I've seen? Was it the greatest? Certainly not. But it had its moments. It was fine. If you're looking for some form of originality here, keep looking. Despite film's director, it still feels like the same old song and dance. You could just stream it. Again, I hope at some point soon, like her next movie, Ishana creates something that's her own and not her father's. I hope that happens for her, and when that does, I'll be there. The Watchers, what was your thoughts on it? Have you seen it yet? Are you a fan of this? Are you somebody that walked in expecting something different, knowing who directed this? Are you somebody that had high hopes for this? Or are you somebody that just hated this, that just thought it was just a beat for beat for beat storyline, just a beat for beat horror film. Were you somebody that was disappointed fully because of that? And it's just somebody that's just given up on that whole entire family directing duo completely? Leave me your comment down below and give me your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. And as always, make sure to click that bell icon so you don't miss a thing. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.